Good morning. The members of the working group are Daniela Florian, Laura Montañez, and Ana Maria Devi. Today we are going to talk about the Spolsky language learning model. To start, we will talk about who is Spolsky. Bernard Spolsky is a professor of language, linguistics, and sociolinguistics. Was born on February 11, 1932 in Wellington, New Zealand. What is sociolinguistics? Sociolinguistics is the study of language as it is used, as well as of society as a communicative entity. It is the field that studies the relationships between language and society, between the uses of language and the social structures in which language users live and develop. Sociolinguistics is a field of study that assumes that society is made up of many related patterns and behaviors, some of which are linguistic. So that the field of education, with its component of socialization and communication, is one of the most interesting for the study of language in use, in order to describe and interpret what is spoken or written in these areas. One of the elements proposed by Spolsky is linguistic learning. It is the most important element of the whole process, and it is the focus of several parameters and dimensions that will have an impact to a greater or lesser extent on language learning itself. The most currently dimension is the cognitive one, which is the one that is given the most prominence. However, not less important in this aspect, there are affective or behavioral dimensions, which participate in the configuration of linguistic beliefs, identities, and attitudes.
However, as can be seen in Spolsky's proposal since the late 1998, this term has been used in more micro contexts, perhaps as a result of the extensive use of classroom environments since the 1978 for ethnographic studies in education, often becoming a kind of umbrella term for those studies that deal with language in use, having, for example, discourse analysis as one of its main techniques. Spolsky proposed a model of second language learning in which very important factors involved in this process were brought together. The social context is the place in which the child interacts with other people through a language. It stresses the interdependence between language as the medium through which social interactions can take place, and literacy as the object of the social interactions.
The social aspect in a learning model proposed by Spolsky is established that the social context leads to the formation of attitudes that can be of various types, and they manifest themselves in the learner in the form of motivation. This motivation adds another series of characteristics like age, personality traits, the individual abilities and skills of previous knowledge. In turn, the interaction between the learner and his or her situation determines whether linguistic or non-linguistic solution will be used in each case. Concept, social context, age, learning, opportunities or situation are fundamental to understand Spolsky's model, and more interesting, they are referred to external extra-linguistic realities. Now I'm gonna talk about the motivations. In language teaching, motivation can be defined as the integration of needs attitude, desires of effort around language learning, if a student has the need or the objective of learning the language, as well as desire to do so, has positive activities and makes an effort to achieve it. This student is fully motivated. In language teaching, choosing and influenced by attitude and motivation. We ask ourselves, where does motivation derive from? How many types of motivation exist? Motivation is derived from attitude. Bernard Spolsky states, individual motivation to learn a second language is controlled by their attitude toward the language, country of origin, its culture, characteristic, and by their orientation toward the learning task itself. There are two types of attitudes: attitude toward people who speak the language to be studied, study toward the practical use of the language, the future use that learning will make of language learning.
That's all. Thank you very much.